going?
Hi, Jess.
So
It's
nice
so
to see
wonderful
you
to connect
again.
with you again.
Yes,
Yes.
same. So I'm noticing there's a little bit of delay, so I just want to make sure that if you stay quiet for a moment or if I stay quiet for a moment, it's because we haven't gotten the message just yet.
That's right. That's perfect.
But I really
Yeah.
wanted to spend this time to get to know you. I mean, I happen to know you as a beautiful person, beautiful professional, and a wonderful doctor. But I also wanted to answer some questions I shared on my Instagram about you and your work. And it's so inspiring. I'm always very passionate about your field of work, and I'm so thankful that you gave me the opportunity to chat with you and answer some questions. So I just wanted to kind of reconnect a little bit of to how we know each other. Um, Basically, we used to work together at a doctor's office. You were and one of the doctors there, and I was the office manager, and we work really well together. We connected at a personal level, as a friendship, and just professionally as well. And yeah, what do you have to add?
I supporting you at Executive help in terms of having a team that works so well together and then that personally connected as well. And now I'm speaking from my new office in Scottsdale. Welcome. And yeah, so tell me about what some of those questions might be.
Yes, so to get started, there was a little bit of delay with the connection. I don't know if it really
Really?
went through all
Okay.
completely, but yeah, let me just get started with the questions. Person said that they noticed there was a lot of hair on their brush in the mornings. So what should they do? Should they be concerned? Should they take a look with the doctor? What will be your recommendation?
Absolutely. And this is one of my favorite questions to answer. And in fact, I don't think I even introduced myself. So I am, by the way, a naturopathic physician specializing in regenerative medicine with a focus on skin and hair. And so, great question about hair. And typically, when they see that there is more hair falling than perhaps growing or staying, first of all, don't panic. Take a moment and let's look into some options. We want to make sure that we arrive at a correct diagnosis before we try any interventions. And so the first step would be to look to work with a healthcare provider. Of course, it could be with myself via telemedicine or here in Scottsdale, or if they already have a primary care physician, to go to them and then look into having labs drawn if they haven't had any labs done recently, because there are many causes for hair loss. And so, for example, it could be as simple as a thyroid imbalance or iron deficiency anemia, which would be seen on those labs. Or more recently, there have been many cases in my office of COVID related hair loss. And of course, COVID would need to be treated before any interventions for the hair loss. And so there are many factors to look into. But once you arrive at a diagnosis, then we would want to treat it directly, treat what the originating condition or conditions may be. And then we want to add interventions that are aimed not only at maintaining the hair that they have, but also regenerating new hair.
Wow.
And that's what specialty is.
That's awesome. Yeah, so a little bit on that area. So I know that you're um, specializing on the hair and rejuvenation of the in a natural way. Can you tell us more about how you got into this specific area on your in your career? How did that evolve?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So I've always been more on the natural side of things, even though in my training I learned all of it, and I do follow, of course, standards of care as any physician does. But I've always wanted to see how can our bodies respond to any stimulation that we give them, it be a natural ingredient or a pharmaceutical or the foods that we eat, right? And so looking at all the factors that can promote ideal health. In my case, after I came out of graduate school, I had lost a lot of hair. And I was looking at options available. And, I went to doctors, wonderful doctors, but many of the options were for maintaining the hair that I had. They were not really stimulating new hair growth. And so I really dove deep into the research as to what I could do that would actually bring my own hair back.
Yeah, wow. And now that you're saying that, it's interesting because I'm seeing you, and it's been a while since I've seen you in person. And I'm like seeing your hair, the thickness, even when we used to work together, to now seeing you, the difference of the type of work that you're doing, that's definitely working. It's amazing. And I
Thank
follow you
you.
on Instagram, and obviously I've seen other cases there too, that it's just unbelievable how nature can work in our favor if we know how to use it, right? Yeah. So
Yes, and I've seen it over and over again. Our bodies are designed to heal. So
yeah,
that's what they do best if we only allow it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And just work around the tools and technology that we have nowadays to be able to use it in a good, productive way for our body. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about how, if this is gonna work for everyone. Is everyone a candidate, or is there any kind of specific reasons that someone will benefit from this, or some other people might not?
Yeah. I'm loving all the questions. And so, in general, most people are candidates for maintaining the hair that they have. In
Mhm.
terms of regeneration, ideally within 5 years of onset of hair loss, that's when we would want to see them, even up to 10 years. But the reason that typically we can't really restore natural hair after that is because scar tissue forms. When the follicles, they are active, they go inactive or
Mm.
dormant, and then they are no longer alive. They're no longer alive and scar tissue forms over them, then the hair is not able to cross through the transdermal layers. And that's when we refer for a surgical transplant. But otherwise, most causes of hair loss, including androgenic alopecia, which predominantly a genetic cause, or alopecia areata, traction alopecia, diffuse hair loss, any of those causes can be addressed within that timeline.
Oh, okay. So it's a good, or important factor that we have to kind of consider how long this problem has been going on to be able to address it properly. Good.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And there are many different ways to target it. And so the most fun part of what I do is to be able to customize treatments, right? And so,
Oh.
for example, in my case, it was a combination of genetics, but also what's called telogen effluvium, which happens with significant periods of stress. In many cases of telogen effluvium, the hair can regrow naturally, and it does so significant stressor is removed. But in my case, it hadn't. And so it was really wonderful to find that there are options available when that happens.
That's amazing. Yeah. So that's interesting that you said that it's a customized type of treatment. So it's not like a one kind of procedure type of thing, and then it's done. It has to be according to the issue or what the reason is, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the first step is always having an accurate diagnosis. Typically, what we found is that it's a combination of things, and so we want to make sure to address those specifically for each person. There are certain procedures that we do very often because we've had a high success rate with them, and so, for example, platelet-rich plasma is one of them. And I'm not sure. Oh, of course, you are familiar with it. Um, but basically, for those of you who may not be, you draw the patient's blood, you remove platelets, along with them will come growth factors. Those are activated in the process, and those are be injected into the scalp to activate the hair follicles that have been dormant. They also stimulate vascularization of the scalp and really just building that infrastructure for healthy hair to grow. And so that's one of the procedures that we do in office that we've had great results with. And then
That's,
we can also combine with topical applications. And so, as Jess, hello?
yeah.
Yes, sorry, I'm sure there was a bit of
The
a delay.
internet.
Hopefully, you
Yeah.
can still hear me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm good. This
Yeah.
internet life. Oh my goodness.
Uh,
We can't get too excited because then the camera freezes. Oh my gosh.
so, it doesn't make sense. um, and so, actually, when I worked in Tucson, we got to collaborate with Christina Mehar and Craft Beauty Lab to run the final testing stages for a peptide hair growth serum that was designed to stimulate our own stem cells and to reactivate follicles for healthy growth and thickening of hair strands. And so this has been extremely successful, and I've continued to use it on my patients. And in fact, when they come in for their PRP, most of them, if not all of them, will take the peptide home as well.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then,
Yeah.
of course, there are items such as supplements such as Nutrafol, which are designed specifically to address hair loss at the root, pun intended. And so it has multiple mechanisms of action, and for those for which it's indicated, it's also been tremendous. And so there are many resources that I can say work for most people, but ultimately the treatment works best when it's customized and it's that person in particular needs.
That's great. That's great that there's so many flexibilities and so many resources that you can have the person to work with. And okay, so then for this type of treatment, obviously they have to be done in office. How can they get a hold of you? I will also be linking your Instagram page over here so people can start seeing the wonderful work you do and just all the great results you've been getting as far as the hair growth. How can they do they have to be local, or how will that work?
Thank you so much, Jess. So, absolutely. So, going to the Instagram, whether or not they have an Instagram account, is a great first step because right there on the link on the bio, they will be able to see several options as to how to move forward depending on where they are. If they're local in Arizona, they can certainly schedule an appointment with me here at my office in Scottsdale where I can see them for in office procedures. Otherwise, I do actually consult with folks via telemedicine. And so that's an option as
That's
well.
great.
And they will be able to schedule that. Yes. Nutrafol has been kind enough to provide professional rates for my patients and anyone with access to the link. And so if they click on there and they decide to get Nutrafol for themselves and try it for themselves, it's the best pricing available anywhere. That's
Wow.
also available to them through the Instagram link.
So as far as
Yeah.
the service goes, do you focus only on the hair growth, or is there any other services you provide?
Great question. So ultimately, when people come in through the door, my goal is for their lives to be better in every respect. I love to be able to assist not only with hair growth, but with them feeling like they're living their best, most authentic lives. And so, in addition to hair treatments, we also offer just customized appointments. And so, for example, there's some people that come to me because they actually wanted to start a meditation practice and they didn't quite have a guide, didn't quite know how. And that's something that I started to do, especially during these times of COVID. I didn't realize that there would be a demand for that. And it's a service that I added because so many people asked me for it. And then, of course, there are other medical services available as well, depending on what is needed.
That's wonderful. And you're absolutely just a gift. You have that gift of, being able to make people feel better and make people feel at their greatest. Just your smile, your spirit, your soul. It's just full of positivity. And let me see. Somebody had asked about if you have any kind of insight as far as the lymphatic health. How can this affect, or any kind of preventative type of work, either with foods or any sort of um, supplements or things that can help the lymphatic system or lymphatic health?
Absolutely. Yeah. So lymphatic health is not quite my expertise, but I'll say this. The lymph, unlike the cardiovascular system, needs an external pump to work. And so, with our arteries and our veins, the heart is doing the work, and that's fine. With the lymph, we don't have that. We don't have that pump. And so, for it to be able to move, we have to physically move it. And we accomplish that in different ways. So, one of the ways is through exercise. Another way is through gentle massage or dry brushing. And so, it depends on their specific situation, but I would recommend looking into those two items for ideal lymphatic health. That's right, absolutely. So I practiced acupuncture, especially at the very beginning of my career. And I loved it because we were able to achieve pain. I was going to say pain reduction, but even pain elimination with acupuncture, right? With a lot of our patients were pilots and they were not able to be on medications for one reason or another, and were able to completely resolve their pain through acupuncture. And so it's something that has really stayed with me personally, even though I haven't really been offering it in the office anymore. And I feel that it has added such vitality to my life and that of my patients. And one of the things that we talk about with traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture is keeping the spleen healthy, the spleen meaning the digestive system. And they're big proponents of having warm drinks and warm teas to go along with foods. For example, for those of you who love having smoothie, I love it too, by the way, the juices. But because of their cold nature, they tend to be aggravating to the spleen. So one of the ways to counteract that is to have a warmer drink after that. And so Jess would see me at the office having bone broth or having teas at all times.
That was so soothing. It's like it's soothing and then just kind of homey, like I remember that from the office. It was wonderful just to have the tea, and especially nowadays, I mean, everyone probably can relate that, having some like cup of tea or a warm drink, it just kind of gives you comfort. So yeah, that
Like
was
a
really
warm.
cute. And if I may share, I was very fortunate that, yeah, I was able to get acupuncture from you, Andy, on my second pregnancy, because I was suffering from really bad sciatic or lower back pain, and that was horrible, horrible, and also kind of what we wanted to prepare my body to for delivery. It was such a wonderful, like that's something that I will probably say for the rest of my life, because if anyone can experience that and benefit from that, is it's really a wonderful experience. And I saw from a lot of our pilot population that will benefit from the elimination, like you mentioned, elimination of pain, without having to take opioids or any sort of, medication. It's just a natural way. We go back to the natural way and the benefits that has. So now talking about how you are so warm and so happy and positive. How do you manage to stay that way? How do you incorporate this into your personal life and your professional life? How do you keep that positivity and, just good energy, good vibes?
Oh, thanks, Jess. Well, first of all, I feel like I've been very lucky that everywhere I go, I encounter the most wonderful people who are very welcoming.
Hmm.
And I just truly have the best friends. But yes, meditation, I would say, has been the one thing that I can point to that has entirely changed my life. It gives you access to a dimension of yourself that we always have a sense that it's there, but we don't necessarily take the time to be it and connect with it. And I found that once I committed to a regular meditation practice, my life completely opened up in a beautiful way. And it gives me this energy that I'm able to use as as a benchmark. And so when I'm drifting off of it, I know that I have a baseline of how I could be or feel. And so I just move back to it. I find my way back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
understand that. Yeah, it's a matter of like, especially now our days and our times and our life in general. It's so busy, so much stuff from outside and social media and just everything. And we need to have the time for ourselves, like you said, and being able to ground ourselves and balance that energy. And you do such an amazing job. Just, look at you. You're just full of joy. I love it. Oh. Oh my gosh. But that's basically well, I can keep going with questions and questions. I just wanted to people get to know you, such a great spirit you are and such a great professional. And I wanted to share this with others and just kind of connect with you because we really miss you. And I will be sharing your Instagram here, your information for anyone who wants to, get to know her better or have any other questions. Feel free to reach out to me or reach out to her, and I'll put you in the right direction.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I love your channel. If you haven't subscribed to Jessica's channel, please do consider it because it's so positive, it's so full of life, and it's also so practical. I love everything that you're doing there, and I really appreciate all of that you bring to the world.
Oh, thank you, Andy. I'm so happy to stay connected with you, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much.